Okay, now let me tell you a little bit about the MiG-21's journey in the Indian Air Force. It started, can you imagine, 62 years ago in 1963. That's when it entered in a trial way with the Indian Air Force. It has become the Indian Air Force's backbone fighter, built and operated in the largest numbers from the 90s, 70s until the mid-2000s. It performed amazingly during the 1971 India-Pakistan war. HAL, like I said, got the licenses from the Soviet Union and built approximately 657 MiG-21s of different types right here in India. Let's get a sense of what today really means as the news breaks that the MiG-21s finally have a retirement date. Let's hear from two MiG-21 veterans what today means, how they feel, are there mixed feelings, and how a public that has seen the MiG-21 from very, very different and polarizing prisms should navigate this big headline. Air Marshal Dilip Patnaik is a well-known Indian Air Force veteran. He's been an air officer commanding in chief. Air Marshal Sanjeev Kapoor, you've seen him often here on NDTV. He's a former Director General for Inspection and Flight Safety, also a veteran pilot. Both have flown the MiG-21 extensively. Air Marshal Patnaik, I'd like to come to you first. Your sentiments, sir, of the MiG-21 finally retiring 62 years after it first flew in Indian colors.
Okay, to start with, when you use the words like finally it is going, doesn't augur well as far as a MiG lover is concerned.
Yeah.
My time people, about 70% of us have flown the MiG-21, and I can say that each and everyone swears by its capabilities.
Yeah.
And it had its own roles, it had its own capabilities, and those capabilities were utilized the way it was expected. As far as its phasing out is concerned, I would put it this way, that it's not finally it is going not because of anything, but because of the fact that in the current circumstances, the threat perception which is there, both from the east, the west as well as the north, these don't stand much of a chance as far as their prevailing fighters are concerned. So keeping that in mind, I know 62 years are over, but I'll be very frank and honest. I have flown 1,265 hours, close to about 2,000 sorties.
Yeah.
And I have also flown the Mirage 2000, which is about 40 years ahead of the MiG-21.
Yeah.
It's a question of whether it is good for the country. I would say yes, now that it is being phased out. Why was it delayed? Probably because the LCA, which was supposed to come as its replacement, kept getting delayed more and more.
Correct.
And we did not have a choice but to continue.
Yeah.
And as far as its ability to fly and its availability is concerned, I would put it this way, that each time an aircraft is offered by our technicians, by our engineers to the pilot, and when he signs it, it is fully serviceable.
Yes.
It's not that the one which was taken 60 years back. Every aircraft has its technical life, it has got its airframe life. All this is catered for.
Yes.
So I won't go to the extent of saying, thank God it is going. I would just say that it's going because the current threat perception, it will not be doing good. So it needs to be replaced. It should have been replaced about a few years back, but we did not have a choice, so it is there.
That is a very valuable perspective, by only someone who has actually sat in a MiG-21 and, whose decision-making has impinged on using the MiG-21. Air Marshal Kapoor, you've strapped into MiG-21s as well as a young pilot.
No, I have not. I have not flown MiG-21.
Okay, you've not flown the MiG-21, but what is your perspective on the MiG-21s, finally getting a retirement date? And when I say finally, I only mean that, it has been spoken about for so long. Nobody has any doubts about the Indian Air Force's decision-making whatsoever. But how important is a day like this today?
While growing up, like Air Marshal Patnaik just said, it was the backbone of Indian Air Force.
Yeah.
There were a large number of squadrons, and if I recall reading somewhere, 28 units of Indian Air Force have operated this wonderful platform. It has gone upgrades like you covered in your preliminary report. And some unique things this aircraft has done. 1971 war, when the governor's house was shot, it was shot from weapon from MiG-21. and that led to the ceasefire. Also, if you recall, one aircraft, Atlantic,
Yes.
of Pakistani Air Force was shot. That also was shot by a MiG-21. And as latest as now, in the month of May, MiG-21s were utilized on high alert during Op Sindoor. So that, is the stretch of this aeroplane right from 1963. And the biggest upgrade, in my appreciation, came in 2001 when these aeroplanes were, the last version, the Bison,
Yes.
had, components both of Israeli, Russian, and Indian. And this aircraft was brought up nearly to the 4th generation, and that stood the test of time. And of course, the curtain down ceremony is planned for September this month. And I'm sure all people who have been associated with this wonderful machine. And also picking up from where Marshal Patnaik left, hats off to the maintenance people,
Absolutely.
to having maintained the engineers and the technicians to have maintained this aeroplane over the years. And this is the longest serving fighter of Indian Air Force
Yes.
till now.
Marshal Patnaik, take us into the cockpit of a MiG-21, all those many hours that you've spent flying this beautiful aircraft. What was it like flying the MiG-21, and what did you like best about flying it, sir? Share something about it with us.
Way back in 1985 was the first time when I sat in a MiG-21 cockpit. It was a Type 66. It's a trainer, two-seater, with my instructor sitting in the rear. I had changed over from a Kiran, which takeoff speed is about 105 knots, coming to about 180, 190 kilometers. And this aircraft, if you can come close and see, it's hardly got any wings. And the takeoff speed is 330 to 340. It was a Type 77 for which we were training. And I still remember that when there is something known as an afterburner. You engage the afterburner, release it. The next thing you hear from the instructor is raise the undercarriage up. That means you are so far behind. The aircraft has already gone ahead and got airborne, and the instructor is yelling, put the undercarriage up. That is the kind of, you have to be ahead of the aircraft. It takes time. It takes time to be, and that is what fighter flying is all about. You have to be ahead at all times, every time, and you have to be right each and every time. Because there's only a single engine, and only thing there used to be a joke some time back that MiG-21 cannot get aids because it had no aids. When I say aids, it means did not have a good navigation system. We did not have an inertial nav system. Radar at times worked, at times did not work. The accuracy of the weapons were not so great, and most important was to navigate from place A to place B.
Yeah.
I remember when we used to fly from Bhuj all the way and come and carry out an attack over Pokhran. Those used to be competitive events. So it is like we used to say flying through Nimbu Pani, because hardly any, very poor visibility, and we used to be looking for one prominent E-shaped building. Our CO was always waiting for that E-shaped building so that you could carry out an attack. So without aid, but fact of the matter is, it's a very nice aircraft when you can have control over it. There have been losses. I agree. There have been losses. I've lost two of my course mates, Chow Wong Ping Monglong and Sujit Jo, both on the MiG-21s. But fact of the matter is, whenever an aircraft has been asked to perform, like Marshal Kapoor mentioned, Atlantic, it was shot down by a MiG-21 using a R-60 missile. It's an upgraded version. Then Abhinandan shot down an F-16 using the MiG-21 Bison. So as we have progressed, it should have, if you ask me, should it have been done away with some time back? The answer is positively yes. But did we have that option? The answer is no, because it has to be replaced with something. It has to, it's all a numbers figure. So I can say, to end with, is that it was a nice platform, and it is the only platform which could get airborne in 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes time from the time a scramble is given. No other aircraft can reach that except for the Ajits and the Nats earlier. But this aircraft just could take off and reach high speed and intercept. Many interceptions have happened using the MiG-21. While I was there in Bhuj, I was there in many other places. It is a fantastic platform.
A beloved of its pilots, polarizing in the public eye, but certainly an aircraft that nobody will ever forget. So thank you for that very valuable perspective. There is no perspective like that of a pilot when we're talking about aircraft, I always say. And I promise all of our viewers that NDTV will be visiting the base where those final 2 squadrons are, and we will get you special coverage as we bid farewell to the MiG-21. Thank you to both the Air Marshals for being with me tonight on India Matters.